What's going on, guys? Municipality Watch here. I hope you guys are doing all right, spectacular and splendid. So today we are here at the Ellsworth Public School Board meeting. It's starting like now, and I've been wanting to address something here. Sorry, I was thinking the whole time. But let's go see what's poppin' at the Ellsworth School Board meeting. It's directly across from the district office. So we'll just check out the school a little bit too. Community room. I think it's in there. I don't just want to enter. You want me to go first? I'll go first.
So otherwise, it was a good way to kick off the sign up for first.
On how that got enacted, so definitely an area of interest. And then I would say, I would also ask that, one thing that we did was, we did take part in the,
It's fine, you can even film me. Sure. Some people were just feeling a little nervous about the bag. Are you reaching it? Do you mind showing me what you got, or?
I mean,
Or do you just want to assure me? Okay, hey, thank you, I appreciate it. I'm assuming you're just kind of auditing or whatever you're doing, but I just wanted to make sure everyone was feeling safe and comfortable, okay?
No,
You too, okay?
With that, that's going to be kind of another area of focus for me.
In alphabetical order, the egg is first, so.
All right. I'm Katie Christensen. I've met most of you, the high school ag teacher. So just in the ag education department, kind of our vision and goal is to focus on students with hands-on experience and help them look at career options and really to be an informed consumer. There we go. So on average, especially probably in this area, it's probably closer to 3, but on average, an average person is 3 to 5 generations away from the farm, meaning that there's a lot of knowledge missing of where their food comes from to how it gets to their table. And so in our new lab and greenhouse area, our big focus will be kind of what we're doing now, but we'll be doing it connects that a lot with taking things that grow in the greenhouse and how they actually get to your table, and a lot of different labs and different components that we'll have. And that we'll have room to bring different things in and to try new things and to do a lot of different things that maybe we couldn't in our old greenhouse and our classroom area that we have now. So, our new areas, so the greenhouse will be connected to the school, and then we'll have a head house for where we do all of our kind of messy stuff, so soil and everything will stay in that, and then the greenhouse will be production, where we'll have kind of traditional planting, but then also we'll experiment with hydroponics and vertical farming, and a lot of different things that they can take home and do themselves, whether they live in town or out of the country, or have a little bit or a small space. And then our lab will be able to kind of have tables that are easily reset, so that we can do different things throughout the different classes. And then kind of our pathways, we'll have a plant pathway, an animal pathway, and natural resources. We've got 3 transcripted classes, 2 in plants and 1 in large animals going through there. And then we've got some different business ideas, whether it's produce or flowers. Floral design is a really popular class. This year I had 50 kids between the 2 sections.
Wow.
And then our animal pathways, just to continue to do different things and show kind of that link between where it comes from and how it gets home, and then also looking at doing some composting and different things that we can partner with different parts of the school. So, yeah, that's just a little bit more about kind of what I just said, and then, yeah, same one there, and then the last couple of slides are just different ideas of labs and everything as I went through all of my classes that we can do better and do in there and different things. And then I just put some pictures. We'll have some different hydroponic types. We have maybe a little bit of aquaponics, just a tabletop. I only like fish that I catch out of the lake. And then just a variety of different things.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you partnered with UW River Falls getting college credit for these kids?
Not with River Falls, but CBTC. So, like kids that are in horse and livestock right now, if they were to go to River Falls, they'll get right out of Animal Science 101.
Wow.
Okay, so it's a transcripted credit?
Yep.
Perfect.
Transcripted.
Okay.
How many classes do you have?
So, forestry and livestock, plant science, which is a little more crop focused, and then greenhouse and landscape, so 3. With the potential for more. Once we kind of get in the new facility and I can see how everything's going, there are other tech colleges, so there are some ed teachers on the east side of the state that have like wildlife and forestry, natural resources transcripted, so there's other opportunities there as well.
So about how many kids got credits this year?
Oh, the quick math would be easily probably at least 50 out of the ag department. Yeah, and that's the quick math.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
All right. I'm Angie Bjork. I teach business education. Right now I'm teaching business management, administration classes, finance classes, and marketing classes. What I see down the road, once everything is starting, I can start working with the tech ed, with the family consumer, and we can put things together and start retail management classes so that the kids get the hands-on of selling and advertising and running a business for the school store. And I also see digital marketing coming up the pipe, because social media marketing is the way the world is running these days. So the next slide is, right now I'm the only one upstairs and by myself, in stationary desks, big desktop computers, so there's not a lot of collaborating and working with others. So now I'm going to be down with the other departments, movable tables, we're gonna have laptops so that we can go and work with other classes to help them promote their products and sell their products. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question for both of you. You know, you said, you're the only one. With these new additions, is there anticipation that you're gonna need at least another part-time teacher, or it looks like a lot
I see,
a lot there for a
in my,
one-person department.
yeah, I would say I would need someone else because personal finance is required to graduate, so I'm also in charge of teaching all those classes too. So, it would be nice down the road, yes.
Something that we need to start thinking about that, yeah, okay.
Well, we've had 2 for quite a while. It's just in the last, year and a half, 2
Yeah.
years?
year and a half.
Year and a half went down to one.
But I was also at the middle school.
What about A?
I think, well, I mean, selfishly, sure.
Right,
I mean, there's always, the potential. I mean, our class numbers are always strong. We've got a lot of different things. I also teach the career classes. So when you guys were talking about community partnerships, like we went and visited several businesses that came in this year. So we've got a lot of that. So that draws kids in. I think the potential is there, but without being in there, if you
Sure.
really don't have a definitive answer.
So then I have a follow-up question, you know, with all the, you know, your new addition or your, you know, your vision, both of them look great. Is there anything going away that is maybe outdated or classes that are no longer gonna be offered?
No, not with this change. I
Okay.
mean, a few years ago, I taught a shop class, but we phased that out because tech ed does all of that. So we've kind of already made that shift
Okay.
as we've gone into.
I don't see any of mine. We did recently just move personal finance to be a junior senior class. So, business basics will be added next year for freshmen to take. That's going to introduce them to all the classes. And then, so they have an idea of what they need to do, as they get older, if they wanna be part of the school store or the retail management, working with others.
Is there a concern with the student population and so many offerings that, you know, there could be a lot of students that sign up, you know, that you can't run classes and then all of a sudden you have to find another spot for them? You know what I'm
Like
saying? I mean,
if they set,
because budgetary, you know, as far as the, you know, as far as the school budget goes, you can't run a class with, say, 10 kids in it.
Right.
So then,
right, like, for example, my advanced accounting class,
Yeah.
the last 2 years, I haven't gotten 10 kids. So the kids that want it on to take it as independent study.
okay.
Right, I have a number of kids that are taking independent study because there wasn't enough there for that class. And even one that's taking a transcribed credit that we're working through, so there are always those options as well.
Oh, great, thanks for being creative and having so many options for the kids.
Thank you.
Alright, Alyssa Matzik and Sarah Johnson, Family Consumer Science. We, are excited to be getting a new renovated kitchen. Nothing is getting bigger or any of that, but we're gaining some cool spaces. So as you can see from the layout, we have a add-on of a commercial kitchen unit into our normal family style kitchens that we have right now. So this will be the new look of our classroom, which is very different from what you see if you walked in there today. But giving us the opportunity to give our kids experiences with hands-on things that we don't have, that we can't emulate in the industry. So if they go and work in a restaurant, we don't have that kind of equipment to give them exposure. So these are a few of the things that we'll be seeing added in, which would be, you know, gas ranges, commercial hoods, braising pans, convection ovens, proofing ovens, things that students would be using if they're out in industry, whether it's in a restaurant, Cottbells, you know, a lot of our kids work down there, there's different things that they're using. So there's a option to give them some exposure to these pieces of equipment so that they can utilize them outside as well. This is a similar layout to what you will see, just different, a little different style, but in Avery. So they did the renovations just a few years ago. So this was very similar to what this is her kitchen, but this will be a very similar look to where ours is. And this was same as her kitchens at her school, so you could kind of see just what they look like inside a space without just the drawings. We've submitted a request to put in a baking and pastries course into our curriculum to add into this so that we can give students more exposure using those specific pieces of equipment. All our students will go through the kitchens. All our students will have exposure to that commercial kitchen no matter what, but this will give them an opportunity to elevate that and add into some of those skills that they see outside.
Do you allow outside supervision and tasting?
Absolutely. Any day.
Any day,
Come on
let
in.
in, any of you. The next part, we just do wanna touch a little bit on our student-run enterprise aspect that we were asked to come up with, and Alyssa and I talked and we collaborated and talked to some other family consumer science teachers, and we've come up with a business of roasting coffee beans. So this is the coffee roaster that we have selected. It's actually manufactured right in our backyard in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So if there are problems, it's real close to get technical help. The guy I talked to, it's a small company. I talked to the owner. He's really excited to work with us to get this in place. He has training classes that Alyssa and I can attend, like a 4-day training session this summer. You guys have the slideshow if you do want to click on it and get some more information. That link is up there. You can look at the exact that model. But we're really excited. Our plan then is to we would eventually teach a couple seniors how to run this, and then they would have a junior under their wing, and then it would kind of rotate up, and then that junior would become the senior who knows how to run it, and then they would train the next group of juniors. So it would just kind of be a continuing business. And then the next slide does talk about kind of our business plan. We've come up with kind of our own custom blend. We're at this point calling it Panther Perk. It would be very cross-curricular, as Angie touched in the business department. We're hoping to use our special education students for labeling, packaging, sorting, delivering. We've made contact with a few places. We actually just got an email today from East End Gifts that they'd be really happy to work with us and sell there. Nielsen's has kind of said yes. Obviously the school store, so places that we can sell our coffee beans and ground coffee. So that's kind of our forward vision for that student-run plan. Questions?
I just wanna commend you for, having forward thinking and doing the cross-curricular with another department. And, you're gonna see a underlying theme with my questions, and I'll ask the same thing when we get to, the industrial tech. Once again, are students able to get transcripted credits?
Yeah, we have 3 classes that they offer: medical terminology, infant, toddler, and assistant child care. Unfortunately, the foods pathway is really difficult through CBTC right now because it's new to them. And so they haven't quite gotten to the point where they're really ready to allow high schools to get in their hands. So we are waiting to see how that transpires, but that's really the only option we have right now besides the child care and the medical. So the medical terminology and the infant, toddler, and assistant child care.
And we did talk to CBTC about the food stuff. They have one they would transcript, and it's 100% classroom experience. It is absolutely no cooking, no kitchen experience. And they said they haven't had a single high school where there's kids interested in taking a semester-long work class on food.
So we wouldn't be able to give them exposure in the kitchen. So it's kind of a tricky thing to offer high schoolers. To say, hey, come and take this class and you don't get to cook, but you get to So that's where we're waiting to see how it transpires for them and see what changes. Right. So we'll see if it works out.
Perfect. So I have one other, comment. I challenge you and the administration and, all of these CTE programs, now that the community, voted this in and invested a lot of money in this to, cross-curricular classes are a huge step forward, but also thinking of aligning with the standards so kids can get a chemistry credit in the kitchen, perfectly aligned. So another way for students that learn differently to get that credit.
We do
I'm
have
sure
that.
there's
We have
ways
food
we
science
can do
right now.
math in industrial tech portion, and things that I haven't thought of for ag and business, so. I'm not just saying that to the teachers, I'm saying it to the admin as well.
Thank you.
I'm Julie Wenger and Casey Bass. Tech Ed. So next, if you want to move to the next slide. So the Fab Lab is going to be relocated from its current position. And then we're going to go with one big concept room. So the woods and construction will stay as it is. Then off from that, going west will be the small engines lab. And then from that will be the metals lab. So with that, the metals lab, first year 1 is going to be, we can skip it, will be construction.
Can you orient, go back to the layout?
Yep.
Can you just orient me, where is the outside of the school from the, or facing the back, like from the?
So to the, where the small entrance is, just to the side is the greenhouse area.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And so we kind of broke this down into years, what we'd like to accomplish. So the first year we've talked about, we'd like to get in the new space, see how everything flows, kind of improve upon what we already do. So with construction in the past, we've really been limited by the size of our shop. So if we wanted to build anything other than tabletop models, which I do right now for our building construction class that's transcribed through CBTC, we would have to take all the tables in the small engine shop, stack them, and move them over to one side of the wall, or one side of the room, and then we can build scale model walls. But now with this new space, if you can, I don't know if it's controlling. Go up to the model. Yep. Where our normal wood shop is, if you just look directly above that, those tables will all be movable. So we will be able to build bigger structures with the goal eventually down the road being able to build 2 yard sheds a year that we can sell.
Okay, wow.
So Metals Lab is where we're really focusing at this point. We're gonna go with 14 welding booths to mimic what CBTC is doing, so we can get transcripted credit through them for that program. We don't have it now because there's so many hours that the kids need to take actually just welding to be able to get transcripted credit. And with the small facility we have right now, we just don't have that option. And so, right now we have 4 welders. We'll be adding 10 more to them and have it more industrial looking and more commercial, you know, bigger spaces so the kids will be able to do more activities. And if you go, sorry, make you go back to our layout of the Metals Lab, along that wall where it says metals will be all the booths, will be the 14 booths that they'll be able to access and utilize. And then a lot of the tables and things in that area are gonna be movable. And so we can create more room for bigger projects as they get through the advanced welding projects or classes. So they can do more hands-on experiences and have bigger projects that they're working on. And they can work collaboratively with other students and hopefully bring industry in to help us, to help them get more experiences.
And so introduction to manual machining, so we'll talk about this in a second, but we really want to get into CNC machining, okay, which is kind of the industry standard. But in order to do that, we need to introduce them. You got to be able to walk before you run. So they need to be able to learn how to do it by hand. That way they have a good basis of knowledge to go from. That way if you say, hey, your spin rate is too fast, they know what that means. And they're not just pressing random buttons on a $50,000 machine.
This is a new class, right? Or do you have it?
No, this will be in addition. This will be put into our intro to industrial tech and our Fab Lab Foundations class.
Okay.
And year 2 will be the CNC, so we're gonna do work on the CNC mills, bring those in and bring kids up to speed on more higher end quality experiences they'll be able to have, so that will more likely mimic the industry, what they would see. If they just leave our facility now, they're gonna see the welders, they're not gonna have very much machining capabilities, so we're gonna be adding that in year 2. Also with the materials and processes and the machining 1 and 2, that'll help us give more flexibility with CBTC and be able to align more of our classes to theirs. So we're working with them at this point, what type of mills do we wanna have so we can mimic theirs. So if they leave our facility and go right to CBTC to continue, they'll be working on the same machines that they'll have in our facility. So robotics will be year 3. FANUC is the controls that we see in a lot of the different industry standards. So we will be incorporating those into our school in the new section. And then we'll be able to give them experiences with using robotic arms and all the PLCs and all of that thing in year 3.
2 years ago, was that 2 years ago, we had the mobile lab from CBTC come up, and they had 3 of these, and on a truck, they brought them in. The kids were able to use those to pick up markers, draw different pictures using code that they wrote, and it gives them a really good exposure of what they can expect in the industry.
We do have right now a little bit through Project Lead the Way of programming, but not to the level that the kids are super interested in, and so we're working on getting them more dialogue with that. Be able to really be able to program something and then execute it and be able to see the arm movement. And introduction to PLCs, year 3, programmable logic controls.
this big thing in the industry, and we're not really touching on that at all. We're doing a little bit, in our digital electronics class that doesn't run very often. So we're really hoping to push the robotics, the CNC, the robotics, and then move into the PLCs year 3.
That way kids get exposure to a fully automated manufacturing setting, so one of those FANUC control arms picks something up, puts it on a conveyor belt, passes through a gate, another arm takes it off the conveyor belt, does whatever you need it to do.
It's just the programming part of it, that they're not getting any. We heard this from the creamery. My husband works at Phillips Plastics. Kids are just not coming in with this controlling ability to be able to program. And so we're really looking at hopefully building the interest in to that the kids will get that experience and enjoy that.
Well, I'm really excited about all these programs.
So much to do.
I know, I love it. I'm glad that you're adding in a materials course too.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So right now we have construction, we have that are articulated with CBTC. We have a construction class, we have a small engines class, we have a web page design class, we have small engines class, electricity, electronics is another class, and then we have math for the trades. And so with that, we'll hopefully be adding the welding classes and then some of the machining classes to articulate with CBTC.
Great, thank you. Thank you for putting together this presentation, everyone. It really helps us to kind of see that vision coming to life.
I have a question for probably Brian. You know, the referendum helped with, you know, it created all these startup costs, and so this can happen. And maybe it was shown and I blanked it out or something, but budgetary, is there a plan on how to, all of these classes have a lot of consumables and a lot of maintenance fees. Is there some foresight on how we're gonna keep these all up to date and running in good order, and all of the consumable items and all of these as part of our budget plan?
Not any different than what we've had in the past in terms of just consumables in general. We haven't had a special conversation about the space yet, but I think that part of it is too, we're finally getting our hands around what the changes are gonna be. So then we can have those conversations, and I know that the budgeting process is starting very soon. And so those will naturally evolve into those conversations, and I think that's when we'll start to get an idea of what those impacts are. Yeah, that's.
You know, it's just like, you know, I'm thinking or talking out loud here, you know, one of the things that we're doing here as a district is we're gonna fund, you know, a partial grant coordinator, which can definitely help with this. There's a lot of businesses that are in the business to giving money for future employees. I just wanna make sure that the lab costs aren't passed on to the families.
I think one of the big focus of having a dedicated grant writer is to provide some of those opportunities that industry offers that we can then capitalize on.
Just a comment.
Are there any questions on this presentation?
Not on this presentation, but could we potentially get something next month, just describing the middle school a little more? Or overview of that? I know we kind of know what's going on, but it's, anyway, we can do it next month.
I would say next month, yeah.
Absolutely, Kurt.
Just curious to look.
I was just looking at the registration booklet that they have online, and it looks like you offer 21 transcripted credits that kids can take through CVTC, and then it looks like 4 project lead the way in, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 14 AP classes. Okay.
Any additional questions or comments?
Mark and Gary, just as far as you guys go, you had asked a lot of questions on the transcripted credits, things like that, our relationship with CVTC. We did just have a meeting today with one of our counselors, went to CVTC and said for schools our size, we're probably one of the leaders in that department. You can't do do a sheer numbers because you're competing with Eau Claire and River Falls, but as far as like schools, our size goes, we're one of the front runners in that department. And then Jess Wisco is also going down to a conference in Austin, Texas, over spring break, I believe, around spring break time, to talk about, you know, our relationship with CBTC and just the way our program's grown over the years. So
I think last data I received, we were number 2 in the CISA. Only Eau Claire, the 3 schools were ahead of us.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's changed over the last couple of years. I'm retired now. So, well, we were number 2 for out of 39 schools for offering transcripted credits.
Well, we might be number 1 now that you're retired.
We could be. I'm sure that Orange only improved the program since.
I don't know if you saw in the paper, the article on Becky Beisel's daughter, and the transcribed credits that she earned through the high school that knocked out 1 full year of her college.
It is, in just my daughter, when back in 2020, it knocked off a semester, which was amazing. So, thank you.
We have many kids leaving right now with ATA plus. So we have, I mean, if you look at some of the data, many of them don't even know how many they have, to be honest, just because they take classes, they're not always realizing it, but we do have a lot of them that leave with at least 12.
It is.
They've got a semester under their belt if they wanted.
It's a good deal.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I always try to remind them that even if they're not majoring in that, a lot of places will take them as electives, which will still take you, will save you money. So
Yes.
you can take my class and you don't have to major in ag, but it'll probably save you an elective credit.
Right.
In there.
That's a good point.
I had a daughter that graduated with 19 college credits, and it saved her a semester.
Yeah, it's really great.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Really good presentation and
Yes.
discussion. We're gonna move on to the legislative advocacy. Oh, we're losing everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, that concludes our agenda for the night, so we'll need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Well, guys, you saw it there first. They are absolutely terrified of just a kid in his bag. Absolutely absurd. Hey,
You're
how's it
still
going?
broadcasting?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna talk to you, but not if you're broadcasting.
All right. Public servant won't talk to me. From my video. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Guys, I think I was respectful the whole time. But who's the one who gets pulled out of the board meeting? Me. And then they won't talk to me? Why? Because I'm filming. It's a crazy world we live in, guys. I hope you all enjoy it, really. While we still have it, that would be great. Anyways, that was the Ellsworth Public School meeting. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and I will see you all later.